We did.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, let's go.
Brendan, good to see you, mate.
Thank you, you too.
It's been quite an extraordinary week for English football. I wonder if you've been watching it as we have and what you make of it. Have you ever known a week like it?
Well, I think starting from our game on the Monday, it was obviously the tenseness and the occasion, and obviously with Vincent getting his goal, so that started it off. But no, the other games were absolutely remarkable. You know, Liverpool's comeback was absolutely incredible. You know, to be 3-0 down against that level of team, to then be at home and have to win a game 4-0 to go through against that level. It was a remarkable performance and thoroughly deserved, because they were outstanding. And then Tottenham, you know, the night after, being behind and again having to score 3 goals away from home. Really, both teams showed their spirit and their quality. And then last night, with the 2 other teams getting through, it's to have 4 teams, you know, from the Premiership really shows how strong it is. And with maybe arguably the best team not in it. So it was an incredible few days, and well done to them all, because they did them and the clubs and the league proud.
I think you had quite a special relationship with Divock Origi, didn't you? I mean, he's that's what he's inferred a few times. He said you've stayed in contact with him, and you've really helped and supported him an awful lot. So to see him get those 2 goals must have been pretty special. What do you make of what's he like?
Well, Divock is a big talent. He was one that, when we signed him, part of the deal, unfortunately, was that he had to stay at Lille. He'd broken through into the Belgium team as a young player, showed his talents, and he was then a player that that was spotted, and we looked to bring him in. We had him at Melwood and presented to them. The scouting team there had a wonderful presentation put together and tracing him back to when he was 15. So we took him through the elements of his game from that age, seeing him as a young player through to what he was then as an 18, 19-year-old, and looked at the areas of which we could improve his game. And he is a talent. It's just been unfortunate for him. He hasn't been able to play as much as probably he would have liked at Liverpool, because they've got such great players and great strikers on form. But he certainly has shown in this last week or so, with a big goal away at Newcastle and then the goals the other night, that he's a big talent. So yeah, he's a very important player for them, and a really good guy. You know, his dad had a big history in the game as well, and he was a great boy. So good to see him getting the credit.
You mentioned the Manchester City defeat there. I mean, it's almost bizarre to call it a defeat, isn't it? Because there must have been an awful lot of pluses that you and the players have taken out of that game.
Yeah, performance-wise, I was so happy for the team to show that personality in the game, to go there and have that confidence to play, you know, to open the field up and look to play how we want to play, which is never easy when you go into play against a top-class team that can really press the ball. So the courage of the players and the personality they showed was very good. In terms of defending and our concentration and organisation, it really took an incredible strike for us to lose the game. I think we had one other save where Casper had to make, but apart from that, our defensive organisation and that was exceptional. So there's areas that we can be better in, and we know that, and that's something that will come with time and more training and more working. But in terms of personality and courage and the development of the team, I was pleased, and it bodes well for our future.
Is it difficult to sort of say anything to the players about the goal that they scored? Because it looked like your players backed off, and you can kind of understand it, can't you? They were almost saying, go on then, you're a centre-back, have a shot from 35 yards and see how you get on. That's almost a defensive plan, isn't it? Yeah,
but well, it's one where we have spoken about it. It's something that, you know, you can't ignore. It was an incredible strike, of course, centre-half stepping in and Vincent's shown his quality. But there's areas of, like you say, that we could maybe been better in. Obviously, hindsight. There'll be lots of captains of hindsight after the game, assessing it and saying what should or shouldn't have happened. You obviously don't expect that. But the things that we learn and the things we pass on to our young players is that, for me, at the very top level of the game, from 30 yards in, it's a dangerous area. Players of that quality, of that level, can do that. So if there's learning to take place, then that's what we learn, in particular in those areas. Even centre-halves can step in and have the quality to score. So, but listen, you got to take your hands off to Vincent for his goal. For us, we will learn from it. And really, I'll reflect more on the performance, which in the main was very good, and the other areas where we could have been better.
How are you dressing up? That was a big miss from Kelechi Iheanacho. And it's been a difficult season for him. He's not had many opportunities to play, hasn't had much game time. But is he part of your plans going forward?
Yes, he is. Yeah, I think that he's just been this first season adapting to a new club. Coming in, it's never easy. And then when you're playing or challenging one of the best strikers in the league, that's also difficult. So I think it's the case of Kells will come back into pre-season, have a really good pre-season, gain more confidence in working hard, and then, like I say, hopefully come out at the end of pre-season with a renewed motivation to really show his qualities, because I've been really impressed with him. Since I've come in, his appetite in training, his work, and then actually in games where he has come on, whether it's for 5 minutes or 15 minutes, he's actually impacted the game and done very well. And he nearly did again the other night. It was just unfortunate. He knows he should score. In big games, you don't get many chances. And he has the quality, but it just didn't happen for him. But he's a fantastic young player, and hopefully he can show that over his time at Leicester.
The season, 1 game to go, but actually there's still quite a lot to play for. I remember said this year a couple of weeks back, and there were an awful lot of places you can still go, but you can still finish as low as 11th or as high as 8th with £4 million of prize money at stake between those differences. So has that been a message to the players that you want a big finish?
Yeah, it always has been. I think from our first day coming in, we said our season doesn't finish till the final whistle at Chelsea. We have a responsibility to the supporters to fight for every result. We have a responsibility to ourselves because of what we're trying to build and create. And that means that from the very first whistle of the season to the end, you have to fight and you have to push. And that will be the same idea. We're playing our last game here. It's been a difficult season, of course, for the players and the supporters in many ways. But we're hoping that we can come here and have a really positive day, that the supporters come and can enjoy watching their team. And like I said, we can sign off with a really good performance and a good result. And then we can go away, reflect, and come back pre-season and get really excited about a new season.
It surprised quite a few people that Christian Fuchs signed that 1-year contract extension. I think the noises he'd made and the words he'd said actually as well gave us the impression that he might be on his way. How did it come about? Did you have to persuade him?
Well, we spoke when I came in. It was interesting because coming in again, you're observing everyone. Seeing what his training mentality was, see where he felt he was at in terms of his career. And Christian, for me, he's super fit. He works very, very hard, and he understands the role. He's a cover player for one of the best young talents around in Ben. And if required to play, he's going to be fit and ready to play because he trains so well. I think initially when I came in, I felt that was his feeling, that maybe it was going to... maybe his future lay elsewhere. But once he, came into the training, he seemed to enjoy the training, enjoy the work. And for some of the senior players, I've said there's still a big future here for you. So for him, it's a nice reward for his work. And of course, Ben is our number 1 left back, but we've got a very capable and a champion who is that cover player.
Not so for Danny Simpson and Shinji Okazaki, though. The club have confirmed that they're going to go. It's going to be quite a send-off for them, I think, against Chelsea, isn't it? They'll get a heck of a reception from the crowd.
Yeah, but both players have obviously had a great history here, and like I say, they've become legends now for the rest of their lives here at Leicester. Danny's an interesting one because there's a perception around Danny, maybe from the outside in terms of how he works and whatnot, but I have to say he's absolutely first class, and Danny's one that he just wants to play now. It's slightly different for him. He's a player that he's a good guy. I've really enjoyed working with him. He trains like a demon every day, but he's at the age where he's still fit. He still feels young and not ready to be a cover player. Ricardo's obviously been amazing since he's come in, and Danny's shown in his time here that he's a very good player. So he still has certainly another few years left at this level to go and play and be a starter somewhere, and that's the reason why he's going to move on. But a great guy. I've enjoyed working with him in my time here. It's unfortunate he has been able to play because of the form of Ricardo, but I'm sure he'll go on and get a really good club and go and show his talents. And Shinge is just, he's an amazing guy. I think his story here is incredible, and what he's done for the club. So both those guys will, be a great time to celebrate what they've given the club, and I'm sure the supporters will show their appreciation accordingly.
Thank you, mate.
Okay.
It has been difficult for Danny this season trying to step in with someone like Ricardo there. This is only his first season in the Premier League. He swept the board with the players and the fans Player of the Year during the week. How good has he been for you?
He's been outstanding. Like you say, it's never easy coming in from Europe into the Premier League, which is very physical, and I know he had some challenges early on. But as the season has went on and on, he's got better and better, and I think you only need to demonstrate you see his qualities in the Arsenal game, where in the very last minutes of the game in extra time he's still getting up there. He still has a real aggression to go and attack the game, and but what he has done, his defending's got better. So yeah, he's a wonderful talent. Like you say, he picked up all the awards from the players and the supporters, and been really consistent. And obviously, my time in here, he's been at a really high level. So a really good talent, and very happy to have him here.
There are a lot of good Portuguese fullbacks at the moment, but he hasn't been in the Portugal squad. Have you been quite surprised at that? Yeah,
I have been, especially seeing him close up and seeing how well he works, both in training and the games. But I'm sure in the future that will come again, because he's playing in the most competitive league in the world, in a fantastic team of which he's been voted the best player. So yeah, I'm sure in the future that opportunity will arise again.
Your final game on Sunday here, Chelsea. They've taken a bit of stick this season, but they're finishing in the top four. They're in a European final. How would you assess their season?
Well, thus far it's been very good. I think the history of Chelsea and the measures that they're held up against, the standard is obviously very high, and it's been a very good season. As you say, they'll finish in the top four, and they've gone to a European final. And like I say, for his first season in charge, then of course they can reflect on a good season, and if they can win it, then of course it'll be a very good season. But no, managing at the elite level, elite management, it's not easy. There'll always be criticism, but they've got some very good players. Maurizio, he's obviously an outstanding manager, and has shown that his time at Napoli and the other clubs he's been at. And like I say, he'll, I'm sure, want to finish his season very strong.
You've got a guy here, Alan Birchnell. You would have seen him around the training ground. The final game of every season, he does a kind of a run. It used to be a run, now it's kind of a walk around the ground, raising money. This year it's...
But I think he's still running.
But you know all about him. You've seen him around the ground. What sort of an influence can he be around the training ground? And his Sunday walk is it's an institution.
Yeah, no, I was obviously made aware of it a few weeks back, and yeah, no, he's a wonderful guy, I have to say. No, a real character, and I love having guys like that about, the real legends of the club and the game, because that's what football's about. Sitting down and having a bit of lunch and having a cup of tea and just talking about the stories of Leicester and the great things that have happened here and obviously the unfortunate things. So he's so important. He does a wonderful job. His energy and enthusiasm, that he brings in every day. When Birch is around, there's a smile, there's a laugh. He's happy. But he also, when I talk to him, and he probably wouldn't know it, I get a little bit of gold dust from him. Every time we speak, he always sprinkles something on there of the history of the club, which I take on board. And he's a wonderful guy, and like you say, he's raised so much money for the charity over what, 39 odd years or so, which is absolutely incredible. So yeah, he deserves all the support, and I'm sure he'll look forward to it again at the weekend.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
With that in mind, Birch is a huge fan of yours, of course.
Yes.
And he's expressed a view to us that he wonders whether you're going to put your running shoes on and do a lap with him.
150%, yes.
And the boys as well? Lads going to join in for a lap they usually
I'm sure they will join in, yeah. So I will be there.
It's pretty unique, isn't it?
It is. It's very unique. The guys were telling me that actually the other team joins in as well. So we can see if we can get them to join in at 3:15. Get some goals. But yeah, it's wonderful charity. He's a great guy, and to keep it going as well. It's part now of the institution here now of what he does. So it's really good.
Quite right. Are there any injuries in the squad at the moment that are going to affect you on Sunday?
No. The players have all, the availability has been great. They're all fit and available for selection. So only the guys that have been out for the period of time. Apart from that, they're all fine. You
were asked earlier on about Shinji Okazaki and Danny Simpson leaving the football club. I wonder how sentimental you are, and if Shinji were to be on the pitch, or indeed Danny were to be on the pitch in the 85th and there was a penalty, would you allow one of them to take it? I'm not really sentimental. I am in certain moments, of course, but yeah, listen, both those players, the contributions are well documented in what they've given here, and I'm sure whatever happens on Sunday, they'll get the support and be celebrated for their great contribution. And whether one or two of them play or not, as I said, here at the club they'll always be appreciated. But we shall see. We shall see what the weekend brings. What are last days at work for footballers like? Because that will be ultimately their last day here. If they're not playing, is there anything that you can do if they're not in a squad, or even if they are, that celebrates that and sees them off? Yeah, I think you can offer them the respect. I think that's always important. Players that aren't going to be here, the likes of Danny. We had a long chat this morning. Because, like I say, I found him a really good boy. He obviously has his ups and downs here at times, from time to time, but he's a good guy. He's trained very, very hard, and like I say, he has ambition to play. He wasn't happy just to come in and sit and be a cover, because he's still fit. He feels fit. And all I can say is he's trained very well, and I've found him a joy to work with. So yeah, you offer players like that the respect, and and that's something that we've done. After his 35-yarder into the top corner to win it, Vincent Kompany was very complimentary, maybe unsurprisingly, about your future as a football club, and talked about Leicester City being a top six team, that they just played a top six team. Clearly it's a compliment. Does it help? Or does it hinder with the pressure that it might bring and the hope and expectation? Or does it help that you're already being spoken about at that level? No, it's certainly not a hindrance. I think it's one where we know where we're at. There's been an established, really, top six clubs. And ourselves, along with other clubs, will try and fight to challenge that establishment and get in there. I think what's important is that your game, and you have a level of game that feels and can produce performances that's going to allow you to go in there. And so it's and players on the pitch, they know when they're playing against a good side or not. And I think from the other night, I think he would have been impressed by the personality of the team, Vincent, and how we approached it without any fear, and showed the concentration level and quality that it takes to to play at that level. So if we can produce that consistency over the course of next season, then hopefully we can challenge that position.
Going into your last game of the season on Sunday, I wonder what you feel you've learnt most about this football club since you arrived.
I've really loved the community feel. It's a very passionate club. Its history and recent history is well documented, and obviously Sunday brings a close to what has been a really, really emotional season for everyone. But I hope that obviously what we've seen over these last period and from Sunday going forward, that we can really break into a new era now in terms of creating this legacy for an incredible man and owner, and we can strive forward with his values and beliefs and really take the club forward so that we can sustain not just our position in the league, but try to develop and grow each year. So for me, there's been so much has impressed me from the players and their attitudes. Been absolutely brilliant, and everything they've come through this season, and the potential they have, to the staff at the club, both at the training ground and here at the stadium. They've made me so welcome, and my staff, and of course the supporters. It's been so difficult for them and everything that they've had to go through, but yet they stuck with the team, and now we're strong and we're together and we can really push on.
And finally, after Sunday, what's the most important thing for the players to do mentally and physically so that they come back to you in July or whenever it happens to be, so that you've got the best opportunity to get them ready over the course of the summer?
Well, firstly, they have to rest. They've been working very, very hard from beginning of July right the way through. Some of them haven't played in World Cups, and some of them at the end of the season will still go away and play for their national teams. But it's very, very important that they recover physically and mentally. And obviously all the players will have an individual programme for whilst they are away, so that they come back. And the modern player now, it's unlike years ago, they come back fit in the main. And then we top up that fitness and do other aspects of training within it. Years ago, they would have enjoyed their holiday and come back unfit. And then pre-season was about getting fit. So times have changed. Modern players now are athletes, and like I say, they'll come back in a good condition, and then we'll top that up with real intense work so that they have that resistance in training and hopefully push on to a good season.
Well done on the season you've had so far. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you. Thanks.
Come next door. Yeah, we'll come next door. We'll do it in the breakout, yeah. Okay, great. Next door for the breakout. Thanks, Ray.
Okay, it's a pleasure, Rob.